On the rest too. Just give me a thumbs up too, by the way, whenever you're good. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to season 2, episode 8 of the Table Talk podcast. We are officially back this week. We are officially live. We are looking forward to today's show. First of all, I just want to say sorry for last week. The goal is to obviously produce at least 40 episodes for each season. So when you do the math, we typically can have 3 shows a week and we can hit it because it's 52 weeks in a year. So long story short is this was one of those weeks where, we figured to just get things done, personal things done, and, get ready for the month of November. And we have an exciting month of November in store for you this month. I'm looking forward to the conversations we plan on having and a couple of other great things going on. But let's worry about today. So first of all, today's topic, we're going to be discussing disabilities in our community. I think this is a very important topic to talk about because it's real, and I feel like we should be addressing these kind of conversations whenever we have the opportunity to. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to our guest, Sallah Mohamed. He's in the building today. He is here ready to conversate, let you guys know about his story, and then share his thoughts on the topic of disabilities in our community. So we're looking forward to that as well. We had Ali as well who is the co-founder of the Dream Podcast, and he also works at Access. You might know him. He was supposed to be here, but he is under the weather. He kind of warned me yesterday that it's going to probably be rough for him. Today, he tried to pull through. He went to urgent care, but wasn't feeling too well. So, inshallah, he's feeling better. But he couldn't make it today. So, it's just going to be us four today. But trust me, you're going to have enough things to learn from, enough stories to hear, to at least be educated on this topic. Were you about to say something?
I looked at his name and I'm like, that name looks familiar.
Yusuf, if you want to turn the cameras a little bit more towards Salah.
So I think I know who you're talking
Yeah, I think his last name is Darwiche.
Yeah.
I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but shout out to, again, Salah. He's in the building today. Sallah Mohamed. He's here to share stories. Again, the topic today is about disabilities in our community. If you want to follow us or subscribe to our pages, want to give you guys a quick note. YouTube is Oz Media 313. Facebook and Instagram is Motivate Me 313. And then Apple and Spotify podcasts. You can listen to the show later under Oz Media. Apple and Spotify podcast under Oz Media. TikTok, you can follow us on Oz Media as well. And if you want to call in and share your story or share a conversation from what Salah says or from what we say, the number is 313-306-1750. Again, the number is 313-306-1750. So again, that's the ways you can follow us. You can call in. Feel free to do all the above. Hit like, comment. I got the YouTube right in front of me as well. And give a shout out to our sponsors before we get started. Of course, you already know we have the Balkan House, Hanley International Academy, the Qahwa House, and BC Adhesives. Shout out to our 4 sponsors. Can we start off with BC Adhesives, Yusuf, our famous adhesives company in the state of Wisconsin? Shout out to BC Adhesives.
BC Adhesives. You can go to BC Adhesives for all your industrial adhesives needs. They do food packaging, book binding, product assembly, and many other industrial services. So if you are in need of adhesives for your business or having trouble with your current adhesives applications, you can contact them by phone 1-888-679-9825 or go on their website www.bcadhesives.com.
All right, there we go. Shout out to Cell313 said, "Hey guys, starting us off. Is that Big Cell? Is that Big Cell? I'm talking about Cell, our nephew Sal. Shout out to Sal. Appreciate him. If that's not you, nephew Sal, shout out to the other Sal as well. All right. But yes, let's get the show on the road. Let's get the show started. Like I said, today we have Sallah Mohamed in the building today, and we have a conversation about disabilities in our community. So first of all, Sallah, I just want to say, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What is it that you do? And just anything that we might not know about you.
Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone, and hello everyone watching. My name's Salah. I'm a design engineer at a company called Thermolift, but as you see, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm a T6 complete paraplegic, and what that means is there's 2 types of spinal cord injury, 2 main types. So what I am is a complete. So what happens is my spinal cord is completely severed. So T6 is this vertebrae. So from the chest down, I'm completely paralyzed. And there's incomplete, which is like your spinal cord is damaged, but it's still intact. But yeah, so I was in a motorcycle accident and that's how I became paralyzed. I was coming off the freeway, coming home from, it was actually Jum'ah. I was on my way home from the masjid, and I was on the exit. So I was on the freeway just driving normal, going 70, and then I started the exit ramp. And as I started it, I did this thing called target fixation. It's like one of the top 3 causes of motorcycle accidents, actually number 3. And what happened was, as I was turning, instead of turning, I just went straight. So because my bike was going so fast, because I just started the exit. So as I went off the exit, because like the exit is like a turn, then it goes into like an open field. It's just open. So my bike went from cement to grass. As soon as it touched the grass, it just kicked out from under me, and I hit the ground going 65, and that's how I became paralyzed. So my spine went like this, completely shifted, and instantly paralyzed.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
It's all good, alhamdulillah.
No, alhamdulillah for everything, right? But very, very tragic
Yeah, for sure.
incident. And I'm sure there's so many things I want to unpack in this whole conversation that you just mentioned. I just want to say that it was Sallah Mohamed. We had him on the show. That's Sal. Shout out to Sal. He came on the show. And I think this is a perfect time to talk about what we're about to talk about today, because you know, we've had people like Sal and Dr. Najat and Imam Hakim and Dr. Shady Shabak come on here and talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Because disabilities can come from, you know, the mental, obviously physical as well. So even emotional, right? You can have an emotional disabilities as well. So, you know, so I appreciate you, Sal, for tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
But well, I guess we could just start off with, because that was my next question, is can you tell us about what happened as well? So I know you kind of touched on that.
Mm-hmm.
Your first initial reaction when I guess you woke up.
Even before that, when you knew that you are not turning, you're going.
Yeah.
Like, what were you thinking at that moment where you knew it? Like at this moment, you know.
Yeah, actually, I knew it was coming because like, target fixation, if it happens for like a split second, and if you're going slow, you can get out of it, because it happened to me before. But I was in a subdivision, I was going 25, and I was able to get out of it. But because I was going so fast, I was just coming off the freeway. I'm like, oh crap, this is about to hurt. But subhanAllah, somehow I knew I wasn't gonna die. I don't know how to explain it, but I had a feeling. I'm like, this is gonna hurt, but I'm not gonna die. And then I hit the ground going 65, and me and the bike separated. I don't know how we separated. That's the only thing I don't remember about the accident, is how me and the bike separated. Because the bike went that way, and I went straight, and I went like, so as I was like flipping across the whole, like a long distance. The witness said from where I initially hit the ground to where I ended up was about 100 yards. Wow. So you could picture it as like, you're in the bleachers watching a football game, but there's no football going on. And there's a guy who just flies across the field. That was basically me.
How old were you?
I was 21, just about turned 22. So this was almost 5 years ago. Today's November 1st. So it's going to be 5 years, November 3rd. 5 years ago, November 3rd. Yeah. But what was your, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I guess you didn't like get knocked out. You were like, you felt everything, or
well, so when I hit the ground, like I was hyped up on adrenaline because like I knew what was about to happen. So I didn't feel it till like a few minutes after. At first, when I hit I didn't know what was going on. I knew I crashed, but my thought process, because like, as you guys know, you have Yemeni parents. I was just like thinking, I gotta hide my bike. Yeah. I can't let my parents find out.
Because they probably weren't a fan of it, maybe in the first place.
Everyone told me not to get it, and of course I was being stupid and I got the bike. But
yeah,
my thought is like, I gotta go hide my bike at my friend's house so they don't find out. But then I was trying to get up, couldn't get up obviously, and this lady, alhamdulillah, she saw what happened. She came over and she started like screaming. She's like, don't move or anything, and I couldn't really hear her because I would ride with. I had a helmet, and when I ride, I put earplugs in just because it helps protect your ears from sound, because it's very loud when you ride a motorcycle. So I took that out, and then I started realizing what was going on. The pain started settling in, because when I crashed, I broke like basically my whole torso, like 2 ribs, cracked my sternum, broke 3 vertebrae, and my whole spinal column shifted. So I was pretty banged up, but like I didn't realize it until like a few minutes later. That's when the pain started settling in, and the lady was like, don't move or anything. I called the cops, and they got there pretty fast because I crashed close to a hospital. Yeah.
SubhanAllah, man.
So, and your question, I mean, you were going to ask, so basically, then what did you feel when you realized you couldn't move? Like, how did you feel?
When I was instantly paralyzed, because the first thing I knew is like, I thought if you see, like, my stomach is kind of puffed out, because when you're paralyzed from T6, T7 and higher, there's a muscle here called transverse abdominis. And that's the first thing I noticed, because my stomach was puffed out, and I thought my intestines blew up. But what it was is it's just your muscle just constantly relaxed, so my stomach always sticks out. And I was feeling it because I'm like, I'm not feeling this right now. I didn't know what was going on, so that I instantly knew right there. I was like, I kind of knew, but I didn't even know what paralysis really was at that point, because I didn't know anything about paralysis. Didn't know anyone who's paralyzed. They just kind of seen it on TV, and yeah, it was crazy.
And then how long were you in the hospital for? And
So I went to 2 hospitals. The first hospital was just to stabilize me because I was in the ICU for a week and a half. It was at Beaumont in Trenton. And I was there for 2 weeks, and then once they stabilize you, they send you to a rehab hospital. I was there for a month and a half, basically learning my new life, like how to become like an independent person as a paraplegic. Because like when that happens, you have to learn how to do everything again. Like I had to learn how to eat, because my whole body was like so broken, I couldn't stabilize myself. I had to learn how to do everything, like move around my chair, just move around in bed, like everything.
How'd you feel
when
you were in the second hospital?
The second hospital, it was better because I was getting back to life, but I was still like in so much pain. The whole time I was in so much pain. Like at the first hospital, I was on so many drugs, hooked up to so many tubes. So like the first day when I crashed that night, I was okay. But the next day is when everything started going really bad. The next night is like my lungs collapsed, and they had to rush me into surgery because they stuck 2 chest tubes in me. So when I came back from that night, I woke up, 2 chest tubes, a bunch of IVs. I was hooked up to oxygen, so I was all messed up. But then when I went to the second hospital, I was more stable condition, but I was still in so much pain because I just broke my whole torso basically. But it was better because it was better staff. It was in Detroit. I went from there to the rehab. It's called RIM, Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan. It was just a better staff, better environment, everything. It was amazing, honestly. I love RIM. It was a great hospital.
And what was your life like before the accident? Like, were you active? Were you playing sports and stuff?
Just like a typical like young guy, basically. So I was going to school, working. I was a manager at a pizza place. Very active, ran a lot, worked out a lot, and in high school, I ran cross country, track, wrestling. So I was pretty like normal boy lifestyle kind of thing. But and then after before all those play basketball, the typical boy stuff, I guess.
But I see now that you're still active. You still go work out.
Yeah, I work out now. So the crazy thing is actually my life now is way better than my life before my accident.
Wow.
Because before my accident, I wasn't really I was just coasting in life. Like it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't I wasn't progressing. Like I was in school, but I probably wasn't even going to graduate because I was actually doing pretty bad in school. And my family didn't know that until after the accident. So before I was just like I said, I was just at a pizza job, not really progressing in life, just kind of coasting. And then after my accident, it forced me in a structured lifestyle. So just to become physically healthy, I had to stick to this structured lifestyle. And I applied what I learned from becoming physically healthy to become just a better person in general. So I became more focused. I went back to school, did better in school. I'm still in school. Inshallah, I'll be done next year. And then I got a professional job. My first job was a CAD designer, but now I'm a design engineer. And my relationship with all my family, friends, everything's just better in general. And now I'm engaged, alhamdulillah. So honestly, life's just way better. SubhanAllah, it's crazy. But yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, somebody said, well, first Khaled said, shoot, best show on Tuesday. Appreciate you, Caltrey. And then Sal said, one of my worst fears is a motorcycle because I've seen things that haunt you because of motorcycle accidents. Because he's a RN, emergency room RN.
Oh, yeah.
SubhanAllah, he felt that and it was not his time. And alhamdulillah, he is sharing his story. Thank you. Yeah, by the way, thank you for sharing your story because it's not easy. And that's kind of how I got to know him. So this is actually funny that you say this. And so now we got a phone call. Let me make sure I answer this right quick. Let me connect it. Sal.
To accept, press 1.
It's like a whatever.
Oh, okay.
Who do we have calling?
Hey, what's up? It's Sal.
What's going on, Sal? How are you?
Good. Hey, guys. Salah, thank you for sharing your story, man. It's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, you're still here with us to share your experience.
Thank
I
you.
just had a question for you, if you don't mind sharing.
No, yeah, ask me.
Did you go through any kind of depression or anger or regret, or how did you feel mentally, and how did you cope with it? If you
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if I actually ever hit depression, but I was sad for sure. But I've always been, alhamdulillah, I've always been strong mentally. But there was definitely like because I really don't know if I hit depression or not. But there were days where I almost like for the first 6 months was extremely hard, and like it's hard to
No.
say, yeah.
Yeah.
But just because yeah, it's my bad.
It's okay.
But yeah, the first 6 months was really hard. So like honestly, like every other day, like I would I would allow myself to recover by like about 5 minutes or 10 minutes, like every other day I would cry and just let it out. And then I would always talk to people. So like I did stuff to help myself recover. But yeah, there was a sad period, but I always kept myself busy and I just always kept progressing, and it just helped me get through everything. Like I set goals, but there was definitely a sad period, but I don't think I was ever depressed. Because I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I don't think I was ever depressed.
Do you feel like your family played a huge role in
Definitely
helping you?
Definitely, yeah. Because I mean, that's what I had when I went from because at the hospital you're pampered, you're taken care of. You got nurses, you got doctors, like needing everything. The real struggle is when I went from the hospital to my house, because now I'm not on my own, but I don't have professional care. Like they're not doing. You have to do a lot more on your own. And yeah, my family was a big help. I mean, they helped me. The first 6 months they helped me so much. Like getting in and out of the house, getting into the bathroom, just anything I needed, they were there, and like even there to talk to. It was great. I mean, they were amazing.
So, by the way, that was literally our next question, was coping and stuff like that. Did you have anything else, by the way, that you wanted to ask too?
No, but can I just add something?
Yes.
Okay, it's very important when somebody gets into like a motorcycle accident or a motor vehicle accident, a car collision or whatever it may be. I know when people are around, their first instinct is to go and pull somebody out, but you can actually do a lot more damage by doing that, you know, and instead of having them just lay there or just sitting in their car until EMS or paramedics get there, because you can do more damage to, if there's already damage, you can do even more damage to somebody's spine, for example. So it's just very, very crucial that people understand not to react in that situation and call 911 and let them come and deal with it.
That is a very great point. I appreciate that, Sal. That's definitely something that a lesson that everybody needs to listen to, and I'm gonna make sure I repeat it again, Sal. But thank you so much for the phone call, Salah. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate the support, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, guys.
All right,
thank you, Salah.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, like I'm gonna repeat this again. So he said, and this is Salah, he's an emergency room RN, and he mentioned, and then you can even touch on it a little bit more too, is that whenever there's an emergency situation, if you see an accident in the highway or car or motorcycle, that you shouldn't actually try to grab them, that you should call a professional to come and handle the situation, because you can probably cause more damage than what has already happened. And you said you agree with that. It's a great point.
Definitely, because like if someone handled me wrong, it could have been worse, because like I was already in a life-threatening situation, and if they like turned my body like odd, I could have probably punctured a lung or something, because my lungs were broken. So if they broke it more, I could have probably punctured a lung. And someone just like, because that's probably what they would do in Yemen, they just grab you, throw you in the truck, and take you to the hospital. But you probably die from that. Honestly, you could possibly die. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's scary.
Let the professionals do it,
Yeah, for sure, man. And going back to the coping thing, because I think it's important to maybe touch on this a little more, and I wanted you to say it, maybe so, you said you had down days, but was there like, I'm done, I can't do this no more, I don't want to do this anymore kind of moments? I
was never suicidal, not at all, but like to cope, the big thing for me to cope was I had goals, and if I thought too far ahead, that would psych me out, and I would start to freak out, and that would make everything worse. So what I did, I can't remember exactly who told me this. This was my brother or someone in the hospital, but they said take it every day, day by day, and that's what I did. So I set goals, and I would take every day, because I wouldn't psych myself out by thinking about marriage or thinking about like can I get a car, can I get a job. So I just set small goals day by day, and I achieved them, and then that's what helped me progress. So like, first was my physical independence. Once I got that, I was able to go back to school. And as I'm going to school to get a career, like I need a car. So I got a car, learned how to drive again, because obviously can't use my legs to drive. They don't work. So you have to learn how to drive with hand controls. So I went to driving school, got my license, did the driving. Everything's all good. So I got a car. And now that I'm going to school and I got a car, I'm fully independent now. So now I can get a job. So I got a job, and then I continue working, and inshallah I'll be done with school, and then but alhamdulillah I have a professional job now. So it was just progression, and then hanging out, of course, with friends and family. Like, they help, people to talk to. I think one of the most important things in life in general is surrounding yourself with good people, because a lot of times you're a product of your environment. So when you surround yourself with good people, like, it just does wonders for you, honestly.
And how important was that support system? Like you said, like,
probably the most important thing, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, if ever it was sad or something, I would just call a friend, talk to my brother, talk to my family member, talk to anyone, teacher, like, just feel from the past. Even if they don't have much to say, just letting the thoughts out was a huge thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any comments so far, Sada? Anything that you've heard so far?
I'm happy that you got to accomplish a lot of things that you have, and I could just tell that you're very strong about it. And honestly, that's inspiring, because things, we all are going through tests, and this was one of your tests, and I'm sure you took it like a champ.
Thank you. I try.
No, for sure. And so kind of what I was kind of leading to was I got to know Salah from Salwa, who's been a not a fan, but a supporter of our podcast, friend of our podcast. She's been on the show a couple times, with her book, Under the Sana'a Skyline. So, I seen her post him, and Abir reached out to me as well. And I was like, man, subhanAllah, because we're supposed to get Ali on the show. And then it crossed my mind, and then Abid was like, yo, put him on the show. And I was like, wow, that's, you know what, let's make it happen. And alhamdulillah, you came, because number one, you get to share your story. And number two, we probably wouldn't even have a show this week if you didn't show up, to be honest with you. But, go ahead.
I feel like kudos to Selwa for bringing you to the school.
Oh.
I feel like especially for the middle school boys, that like they don't see that life can like
Take
change
life
in
for
a
granted.
second,
They take life for granted, for sure.
They don't really think about
Everyone, not just
literally everyone. And at that, I feel like you would be such a role model, because your mindset is so strong.
Oh, thank you.
And just them seeing like you go through a hardship and still, and like you said, it made your life even more organized. And I feel like when you were saying live by the day, we should all be present and live by the day. It's something that we should all do. And it's great, honestly.
Yeah, it was a great experience talking to those kids, because it was just great going back and forth with them, because I told them to ask any questions, and I felt like, like you said, the boys really I felt like they benefited a lot from that, because they saw like a Yemeni person who's actually working a professional job, and the other factor is he's in a wheelchair. So it's like, just because you're Yemeni doesn't mean you can't do anything, or because a lot of Yemenis have like just regular simple jobs. They don't think they can reach like an office job or graduate from college, and then when they see someone who's in a wheelchair doing it, it's like I feel like it gives them more motivation to do it.
100%.
And I was going to ask, like, that's how he's seen, and how was that experience? And is this something that you see yourself doing in the future, like with other people as well, other schools? Like, do you enjoy this? Or
Yeah, I've always been told to do it. It's just, I wanted to wait to where I got to a point in life where I can kind of not necessarily achieve a success, because we're always just trying to progress, but like get to a point where I can say I made it to the other side, because like
what you have.
Yeah. But I was just, in that, it was like that's what put me off to it, and then I needed that push. So it was good that she reached out, because I was actually super nervous before going to the school. Like, I was up the night before, just like I was psyching myself. But once I got there, it was just like, it was easy to talk to the kids.
Middle schoolers can be intimidating a little bit.
Yeah, I'm personally with middle school. It's like, at this point, seeing them every day. I'm at that point where it's like,
Yeah.
But no, I could definitely. There's people that see the middle schoolers intimidating, and there's people that see the younger kids intimidating, the kindergartners.
Was there a specific question that one of the students asked that was like, oh, good question? Or
there's a lot. They asked probably like a lot of the same questions, like. But one of the questions that that was a really good question, some girl asked me, is any tips on confidence? And at first I told her, like, for me it was kind of easy, because I grew up in a city where it's mostly white. I live in, well, I probably shouldn't say on here, but I grew up in a pretty white city, And I always stood out, so it was easy for me to always be confident because I was like one of the popular kids because it's a small city and everyone knows each other. So it was easy for me to stand out because I did sports and I was like one of the only dark kids in the city. But the other main thing with confidence is like the way I think about it is I just do what I want. I don't care what people think. Like, because if you get caught up in that, I won't be able to like leave my house. Because like there's people who are in my situation. They told me that I didn't leave the house for the first 2 years. And I'm like, that's crazy to me because I generally don't care what people think about me. I just do what I want. And I mean, not disrespectfully, but like, I'm not going to let someone's thoughts dictate my life.
As you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And as anybody shouldn't either, because at the end of the day, we're all going to be judged, right? At the end of the day. So we ain't got to worry about what anybody have to say. Question about driving, like you were saying. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's that like?
So
how does
the
that
hand
work?
control. So it's like there's mechanical and there's electrical. So the way my car's set up is it's like a handle and then you swivel down for gas and the gas is electronic, but the brake's mechanical because you don't want that to fail. So you push to brake and you swivel down for gas. And then I have my other hand on the steering wheel. It's got a suicide knob. You guys can't drive with it because like it'd be illegal for you guys, but it's legal for me because I learned how to do it and it's on my license that I can drive with it. But so I steer with one hand and then gas and throttle with the other hand.
Nice.
But I mean, alhamdulillah, yeah. I drive a minivan, but it's not a modified minivan. What it is just a regular Dodge Grand Caravan, and the seats they have the stow and go seats, so they fold into the ground. So it's just a regular minivan, and I throw my chair in there, and then again the only thing that's different is the hand controls, but it's very normal.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen it, and I was just wondering, like, how did you make it work? And you mentioned hand control, and that's interesting. I've never seen it before, never heard of it before, or anything.
Yeah.
And again, this is why I wanted to have this show, right? Like, because we are so uneducated as a community, and again, he's gonna leave for Maghrib, and I wanted to like almost kind of like have a 2-part series, so it's a couple minutes away. Before we start talking about how the community reacts to these kind of things, because we wanted to hear his story and kind of hear, what was his his situation. And then, I just think that we're so unaware of this stuff. We're so uneducated. Unless, like, somebody close to you, I feel like we have no idea what they go through. And I know we're going to kind of hear about this a little bit more later. But, what are your thoughts on the hand control situation, Sada?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Make sure you get closer to the mic, too.
Did you know anyone in this situation before this happened to you?
No, I mean, you'd always probably just see it like as you go around town or something, but I didn't know anybody, so this was all super new to me. Yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
No, but it's really nice, like, for people also to know that your life doesn't end because a situation like this happens. There's so many things that are that accommodates to whatever disability or whatever you're going through or anything like that can make things easier and make you. There's no difference.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like even at home, you guys probably had to move things around and.
Yeah, so we didn't change too much because like the way my house set up, everything's flat.
Okay.
So before, because it's just a ranch house.
Oh, nice.
So, but the only thing we really changed was the bathroom, because instead of what we did, we took the tub out and made it like an open floor, kind of like the bathrooms in Yemen. So that's the only thing, and we added a ramp, of course, to get in the house, but not too much, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I guess, what are some things that have been the most challenging for you since the accident?
The most challenging I guess I don't know if it's appropriate to talk about the most challenge. It's just kind of like I don't know if it's really appropriate to talk about here.
Okay.
But it's just kind of like with nothing, like everything kind of not working below here.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. If
Okay.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
So, yeah.
I understand.
That like going to the bathrooms, that's not even a problem. It's the other stuff kind of thing. If you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. No,
Yeah.
I completely understand, man. And I guess we can maybe even jump into, if you want to, the community one, unless you wanted to like get ready to go. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, perfect, man. Well, and this time I wanted to ask, do you guys have any thoughts on, the topic of disabilities? First of all, any thoughts of what's been said so far with our brother Salah over here? Any comments so far? Anything?
No, like you were saying, everybody goes through a test, and for him to be able to like take this situation and not feel like, because a lot of people when they get paralyzed in a certain way, it's just like, why didn't God just take me? Like, why do I have to go through this, or why do I
With
have to,
any inconvenience.
right? And to be able to say that his life changed for the better is so uplifting.
Inspiring.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is. And I think, to hear this story, because let's be real right now, we all think about that. I don't know about you as a parent, this is stuff that we sit there and you think, if this were to happen, number one to you, obviously, but if it was to happen to somebody that you know or to your kids and stuff, like, how would you be able to handle it? And I know that wouldn't be easy.
No, the way that you brought up a good point. Like, honestly, contact football is not something that I would allow my son to play
Yeah.
because of the fear of him eventually, or something
Being
happening,
paralyzed
and
and
yeah,
stuff.
and like, or any type of injury. No one wants to hear anything. Believe it or not, you guys know I this is gonna be a story that you guys might not believe, but I fractured my arm, hand, all of it 4 times. 4 times I was wearing a
The
cast.
same hand 3 times.
And it's not fun, and it hurts, and I would never want my son to go through that. But alhamdulillah, he's athletic and plays all the sports, but I never would want to hear something bad happening. There was just one time where I wasn't there during practice. I dropped him off, and I usually will stay during, or I work at the same school, and I got called. He had a busted lip, and I was like, I'm never ever not being at practice.
Yeah. That's
So
just a
no one
busted
wants
lip.
to hear that call. No one wants to, I could just, I want to ask him about how his parents reacted. We forgot to ask him that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, parents, for the most part, wouldn't want their kids to go through anything that would hurt them mentally, physically, emotionally, and they would wish it upon themselves more before them. But that's definitely something hard.
And for those that are watching, we want to just let you know that we have Sallah Mohamed here. He's our topic is about disabilities in our community. We're going to now get into the community part. He is praying Maghrib right now. He should be done in the next few minutes. So I just want to let y'all know that's what's going on right now. So we're almost just having a quick conversation about some experiences or thoughts on this topic. But Yusuf, can you get the second ad on the way, which is going to be Hanley International Academy, the school that we're working at, as Abid was mentioning. We both work there. I'm the PE teacher there. She's the first grade teacher there. So we want to give a shout out to Hanley International Academy, our second ad of today. Again, shout out to all of our gold sponsors, BC, Balkan, Hanley, and Qahwa House. So Hanley International Academy, Yusuf.
Hanley International Academy. Hanley is a school that treats every student and staff like their own family. It's even in their vision statement, educating your child like our own. Did you also know that Hanley offers a virtual academy? So if you're looking for your kid to sign up for an online school, look no further than Hanley's Virtual Academy. But if you're looking for face-to-face, Hanley International Academy is located on 2400 Denton Street, Hamtramck, Michigan. The athletics there are great. The academics there are great. Shout out to the whole staff for being great teachers and educators for our leaders of tomorrow.
All right, so we are now going to get into, we got Salah back in the building, by the way. Well, he's been in the building, but we got him back in the studio area. So thank you, Salah, again, for coming on, and thank you for sharing your story, man. I
No
think
big
this is
deal.
so important
Thanks
for
for having me.
people to have this conversation. So Salah, my next question to you, Abid mentioned this, is, what was your parents' reaction, family's reaction, initial reaction, man? I know that was not easy.
Well, a lot of it I didn't really see because when I crashed, I got rushed to the hospital, and they contacted my brother because I gave him my brother's number as I was in the ambulance, and my brother, he was very smart with it because he knew it was initially he thought it was a prank. He thought it was one of my friends pranking. He's like, if I find out it's one of your friends, I'm gonna kill you. But it wasn't that. So the doctor told him I was in surgery and all that. So he told my family he told my family, he's like, Salah was in a motorcycle accident. He's alive. He's okay. He just broke his leg because he didn't want them to freak out and like on their way to the place like crash or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know their initial reaction, but I know when they all got there, like my brother told them all the news, and it was very rough for them. They were like, when I woke up from surgery the first time, I saw, at first I didn't want to see them because I was upset at the whole situation. I was upset at myself. I was just kind of ashamed to see them because I just knew at that moment, like I just messed up because everyone told me not to get a motorcycle and I didn't listen, and I was just so upset at myself. And then after like probably 30 minutes, then I saw my family and stuff. But like I saw my mom, she was crying, and all my family. I mean, yeah, I don't remember seeing my dad, But I remember seeing my mom specifically because I don't know if it's just an attachment thing or it's just like what it is. But I remember seeing my mom crying. That was like one of the things that stuck in my head. And then the crazy thing is I didn't cry for some reason when I saw everybody, like how much of my family, friends, cousins, they all came. I didn't really cry until for some reason when I saw my friends, my 2 friends that I grew up with from birth. And for some reason when I saw them, we all just broke down. I don't know what it was. If it was just, I don't know. I was mad. I was mad the whole time at myself and just kind of sad. But for some reason when I saw my friends, I just broke down. I don't know what happened.
Do your friends have motorcycles as well?
No, they don't. And there were friends thinking about getting it, but after my accident, some friends sold them. Some were dropped the idea completely. Like my brother wanted to get a motorcycle too, and then after I crashed, like I changed a lot of things.
And that was gonna be my next question. Somebody comes to you and say, "Hey, would you recommend me getting a motorcycle?" Your response would be what?
It's always no. I can't recommend that like morally. Like I feel like it'd be like selling cigarettes or something. Like I just feel like a bad person because I know what happened to me and I don't want that to happen to anyone else because it doesn't just affect you, it affects your family, the people around you, and it's just avoid it. I mean, why introduce that into your life? If you can avoid it, avoid it.
Okay, so this was the second part now. This is the part where we definitely would love comments. We want to share your thoughts as well. First of all, Qamar Zindani said that was a very good question. Confidence is key from that student. A fellow co-worker with Salah, Met696. I can honestly say he's a true inspiration to all of us. Asked him to talk about how many miles he now rides on his pedal bike. And then everyone should try boxing. Said biggest fan of Oz Media. And then Sal said this is a great discussion and topic. That is not true. You definitely shouldn't try boxing if we were just talking about how these other contact sports are.
Oh yeah, CTE.
Yeah, CTE is real, and people don't want to talk about it because it's one of those taboo topics.
Yeah.
But it is real.
What is
It's
I don't know what it stands for specifically. But
basically
it's like,
brain damage.
yeah, brain damage.
Over time. That's why
Yeah.
I would,
Critical.
like you said, I would never let my kids play football too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So, I guess the what is that about the riding?
Hand cycle? Okay,
Yeah.
so after my accident, I loved riding bikes because it's such a, before my accident, I always loved it because it's such a great way to get a workout and see like the world, like especially where I live around a lot of bike trails. So I love going outside and seeing the area and getting a good workout. So when I had my accident, I couldn't really do that anymore. But I found out there's hand cycles. So that's like the next best thing for someone in my situation. So it's basically a bike, but use your hands to steer and pedal and all that. But like as my coworker, I don't know which one it was. It was either Mark or Sam, but I ride it, like I try to ride like 20 to 30 miles a day when it's warmer out. Obviously not now, but like I ride like 20, 30 miles a day because I train for like a Detroit Free Press Marathon and all that. So I like to do that. It's just
20 to 30 miles. That's wild.
that's what I try to do. Yeah.
Mashallah.
Yeah, that's very good. Very good. Very impressive. MashaAllah.
Thank
Very impressive. So again, disabilities in our community. I want to know your thoughts. Why do you feel like it's such a taboo topic, such a topic that we are so uneducated about? Why do you feel like that's the situation?
That's an interesting question because it definitely is like taboo because we're not around it and we don't understand. Because like I think a lot of it comes from cultural background because we come from a place in Yemen where when you're disabled, that's it. Like you don't. That's your life. You don't really got much to do. So we kind of brought that mentality like over here. But with me, it kind of isn't because I don't. It's the way I carry myself. I don't like. I'm not my wheelchair. I'm not my disability. So with me, I'm very open about it, and with me, it's not taboo. So people feel comfortable asking me anything because they just see how I carry myself, and after you get to know me, you don't even see like the wheelchair really. You just know me for who I am, and then people ask me whatever because I'm just so open about it. And so it is and it isn't. Like with kids, it kind of is because like you want to be mindful of them, but it's a tricky because you want to include them, but you don't know how. It's all about knowledge and we just don't know a lot about it. So that's why it's like taboo. So that's why I try to be as open as I can just to educate people, and it's just the way I've always been.
You are very easy to talk to. Like me and him are chatting for a good half hour. I'm going deep into stories. I'm like, why am I even talking about this? Like I'm halfway through the story. I'm like, how did I even get to this point?
Yeah.
But you are a great listener and honestly a great motivator. I like you said, you are not your disability. You are yourself, and I really do believe that you carry yourself like that, man. Because like you said, we were just chatting it up, and Like everything is, everything is great, everything is normal, man. Abid, what are your thoughts? Why do you feel like, these kind of topics? Remember, it's not just physical disabilities. There's mental disabilities. There's emotional disabilities. I mean, I don't got the facts of every single category that's broken down, but this is not just so when I ask, why do you feel like it's a taboo topic? Maybe take all that into consideration. So why do you feel it's a topic that we don't really discuss in our community?
I feel like it comes from ignorance, like not knowing the situation. Like he was saying, a lot of the times when someone is in a wheelchair, they're like, "Oh, miskin," or like they look, they have petty and they don't expect much from you. They want to do everything for you, and instead of see the potential. So I love the fact that number one, you are so open, because at the end of the day, I feel like that takes away so much assumption. Like people tend to assume.
Definitely.
And for you to be able to be open and not feel like some people, like, they're personal questions, it's not something that's very easy. I'd like to say that whenever my coworkers say this might be a dumb question, but I'd like to know about something like, about Islam and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, tell me. I would rather you ask me and I'll tell you than you just assume, you know? So kudos to you for that, for 100%. So
Thank you.
I think it's just them not knowing.
Well, yeah, why do you feel like it, Sarah?
I feel like that, especially in a community that we live in as well, it's like if it's something
That doesn't affect them?
Yes.
They don't care.
Yes. And if it's not in their circle or in their life, then they shouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, and or like if it's something negative, like negative in a sense of or like sad or whatever, they don't want to talk about it. As long if it's not a problem, that it's not an everyday problem, they don't want to speak upon it. It's not, it doesn't involve them, which is again goes back to ignorance and stuff. But I do want to tell you that I always believe it all starts in your mind. Yeah. And because you have a positive mindset, and because you take care of your mind, I feel like that helps you 100 times.
It's mostly
more.
mentality.
For sure. Keeping that positive mentality is really important.
That's the biggest battle.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they say in the CIA it's 90% physical and 10%.
90%
mental and 10% physical.
Sports.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything is mental, mind over matter. And people say that. Like, to me, you can control what your thoughts are, or at least try to control it and try to stay positive.
And don't they say, like, even physical pain is from the brain?
Yeah.
So, like, if we can control it there, we won't,
Yeah,
if
for
we
sure.
don't give it too much attention.
Yeah.
It won't be as bad.
No, for sure, man. And honestly, this is something, kind of leading to the next question of why is it important to address these topics? Like, why do you feel it's important to address these kind of topics in our community? And, I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but, the importance of addressing these topics.
It's mostly like education, so people know that, like, they can approach this person. It's not just they're not like just like you shouldn't tiptoe around this person. Like, they're just a normal person. They may look different, or they may use a different motor like I use a wheelchair, and just they're normal people. They're just a little bit different, I guess. It's just it's mostly education, and it's just important because those reasons.
And I was gonna say, like, it could save lives.
Yeah.
Like addressing these topics, having these conversations. Like, this is with any kind of issue or disability that someone may have. Like, you are talking to this person. First of all, there's already like the shyness, or like you said, people don't want to approach person about this issue, when really this person that you're afraid to approach probably wants to talk about it. Yeah. But since so many people are so afraid to talk to them about it, they probably don't even have anybody to talk to. And that's when they can fall into a deeper hole, because they feel like they're alone and they're isolated in this world.
Definitely, because I know when I started after my accident, I always started posting stuff on like Facebook and Instagram. A lot of people reach out to me, like, there's like seeing you do these things, it's really changed my outlook on life. Because the biggest one I can always remember is when I was in the hospital, there was this Yemeni occupational therapist, and he was always like with me through this stuff, and he helped me out a lot. And a few months later, I posted a video where I got from the ground to my chair by myself. And he said he showed this Yemeni girl who was paralyzed after me, like a few months later. And he said, because I showed her that video, it changed her whole outlook on life. Because before, she wasn't really trying to get better in physical therapy. She was just kind of there. She didn't want to be there. She was just sad and depressed. But he said after I showed her that video, it changed her whole outlook on everything. So she started actually getting better, started progressing in her therapy. Like, she was trying to get better because she saw what I did, and she's like, if he can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
Yeah.
that's probably just one minor
Yeah, it
example
is, yeah.
that of the many, mashallah, that and inshallah that you continue to inspire.
Alhamdulillah.
It doesn't even have to be somebody that might be paralyzed or
No.
disabled. Like for instance, us, you know,
And
like,
it doesn't need to be a motorcycle accident. It could literally be any of us just walking down a street, and
Yeah.
if it's meant for us, it's meant for us.
yeah. So it's important that you continue doing the work that you do, man, because it's seriously inspiring. But why do you feel it's important to address these kind of topics, Abir?
Like you said, for people that are going through the same thing. Also, for people in normal life, honestly, I feel like I need to get my bike game up because 2 miles in, I'm like, whew, I can't do it. But it just makes you feel grateful for, you know, the blessings that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And for people to actually sit and think, like, you know, at the end of the day, alhamdulillah, like, Allah never puts you through anything unless He knows that you're going to be able to go through it. You just have to trust and have tawakkul in God and in your written plan.
And I'm sure this situation probably got you closer to your God as well,
Yeah, definitely.
which is
You said close to Allah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like after my accident, I became a way better Muslim. Cause like before I was praying, but it was inconsistent. Like I would pray some days, like sometimes miss Salah and not really care as much. But like after, cause I was like very structured, I do my best. I mean, I say I pray every day, but like I make every Salah, but like sometimes I miss it or I'll forget or something. But I do my best to make every Salah, and I've just tried to be a better Muslim. Like listen to more Muslim lectures and just better to my family, just better person overall. This has definitely made me a better person, I think.
I don't think you understand how many people are probably going through a very similar situation with you. Again, this is not just physical stuff. It could be emotional. It could be
Yeah.
mental. That they hear this and they're probably saying like, yeah, I did the same thing and I went through the same thing or at least a similar struggle. And, you know, that you're sharing it and you're willing to share it, especially like with our community when we shy away from these kind of conversations. It's very impactful.
and us as a society, when it comes to someone not looking like you, we shy away from them or we make them feel uncomfortable, and that's what starts people feeling lonely and people, you know, falling into depression and stuff like that because they don't feel like they have an outlet, people to talk to, or you know, could be even something mentally or physically that they could relate to, or you know.
Is there like programs or groups of people that, you know?
Yeah. There's a lot of Facebook groups that are very good because like when we talk, like a lot of people like understand like what you go through obviously, and then with those Facebook groups, it's great because like we all talk super open on there, and it's just like everyone understands it, and so I think it's great to have like people around you. And in Detroit, there's a big community and of like disabled people, but I'm not too involved with that. But like on Facebook a little bit, but it's just because I'm not physically around a lot of people. I just have my friends and family, and it's honestly great.
Do you feel like that this has stopped you from being able to accomplish some of your goals in life?
No, it's actually pushed me to accomplish my goals. Because before I wasn't, like I said, I was just coasting in life, not really progressing towards anything. Like of course I wanted like a better life, but I wasn't doing anything to get that better life. Like I was going to school, but I probably would have flunked out, honestly, because I was at a point, like I kept failing, like, and I actually dropped out of, not many people know this, but I was in Calc 2 and I kept taking it, and I didn't tell my family until like after, but like I wasn't gonna get my degree, and then my accident happened, and then just reshaped everything for me, and then I started going back to school, and I was doing good in school, and I'll inshallah be graduating next year, inshallah. And I'm doing like I got good grades and stuff, and like I'm not just coasting, I'm actually doing very well.
What are you getting a degree in?
It's called product design engineering. So it's like it's kind of like it's like in between mechanical engineering and like actually working on the thing. So it's more of it's more designing. So like doing like all the stuff here you like was designed in 3D programming. That's something I would do. So it's kind of like manufacturing. It's a lot of different things, but it's the thing called CAD, so computer aided design, and it's basically doing engineering stuff on a computer. So like sometimes with mechanical engineering you can do that. Like a lot of people I work with are mechanical engineers, and they do the same thing I do. But sometimes when you're you're doing a lot of theoretical stuff, and that's not something I like. I like to like really see the stuff I'm working on. So everything I design, I actually see it in person.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So what do you usually design?
So right now I work at a company called Thermal Lift, and we're working on this new machine that can like revolutionize the HVAC industry. So I like to explain it to people as the Tesla of HVAC if we do make it to production. So our machine, like, you have a furnace, an AC system, and a water heater. Our machine does all that in one machine, and it's
Wow.
all clean energy, and it doesn't use any toxins. So your AC system uses Freon, and if that leaks, that's very toxic. You'd have to evacuate the house and all kinds of stuff. Our machine uses helium; it's not toxic at all. And so I work on like designing that parts of that machine. And recently, I worked on a pretty big project, which was creating an outdoor enclosure out of sheet metal to put, because right now our machine's inside people's houses. We want to take it outside, so that's what I worked on recently. And it was an enclosure to put it outside your house, kind of like your AC.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So inside the metal part of the AC, there's like actual compressor and fan. That sheet metal stuff, that's what I designed recently.
Can I recommend something for future design?
Yeah.
Something that folds laundry.
I think they got stuff already. I saw some
Pretty
videos
corny.
on social media that they're coming
Honestly,
close.
like, because we have a washer, of a dryer. A dryer. I hate folding laundry. Something that can just fold your laundry for you. I don't know.
It's gonna cost a lot of money.
Dang.
It's gonna be expensive. All right. By the way, Sallah Mohamed said chronic traumatic, and then the letter so CTE. I'm not reading off the E though.
Encephalopathy or something like
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
s-
critical.
There's a movie about
Yeah,
about it.
CT,
It's
Will Smith.
Will Smith, yeah.
A great movie if you
Yeah.
want to learn more about it and how like it's crazy that it's just
That's
something.
That's
that-
why they said OJ probably killed his wife because of CTE.
Oh man, a lot of the reasons why that probably happens with NFL players. Why I think the NFL players are so aggressive outside of the football field.
Yeah.
You know, they're beating up their spouses or beating up their kids and
Yeah.
stuff. Like it's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. What can people do or not do to help individuals with disabilities? Because sometimes it's almost like you don't almost want people to do. They're doing too much.
You
So-
wanna
I do want to say
Yeah.
to add on to that question. Also, like, what are some things that would make you feel offended or would make you feel like
Well,
don't stop?
For me personally, I don't really get offended.
Okay.
It's just I guess because of the way I grew up. I grew up in a all-white city, and I faced a lot of racism like growing up. But like it stopped at a certain point, and then so I developed thick skin, so it's very very hard to offend me. But to help people like me, it's just include them in things. It's just like treat them like normal. Like don't do too much for them. Like don't like push them everywhere. Just like hang out with them. Just treat them like a normal friend. I mean that's how like everyone wants to be treated, just normal, and it helps honestly. It really does. Like with young kids especially, like who go with disabilities, because like they're always excluded from things. But if you just include them and just treat them like normal, it's all good.
So going back to what you wouldn't want people to do, I know you said you have thick skin, but maybe what are some
so-
things that you've heard from other people, like that
Yeah.
say like honestly like they get just offended or they feel like this is not.
So what
So-
should we not do?
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, so a lot of people joke with me because they know like, I'll take it all right, but you shouldn't just go up to them like, for example, someone at a gym like, oh, you hitting legs today?
Yeah.
Me and my friends say that to each
like
other
dark
because
humor?
yeah. So you guys.
If you don't know them, don't do that.
Yeah. First build a relationship, then throw the jokes. But
Yeah.
so just kind of like watch what you say, but don't just start helping someone without like them asking, like get consent. Because like a lot of people, I'm used to it. Like at the Miskid, I let it happen because like people always just come and help me. Like okay, just
Yeah.
because it's whatever they want to help, so I just let them do it. I don't ever really need their help, but I just let them because they want to and they get the egg it, so why not?
Yeah. I can
sure.
see that.
Honestly, I like it. This is actually something interesting because a lot of people don't like this after like once they become paralyzed or disabled. It's the treatment. So a lot of people they get treated like people are very nice, like overly nice.
Like they're
But honestly,
fragile.
I actually like it because like whenever I go somewhere, especially in our community, like I get I get always respect. Like people come up to greet me instead of it's like the other way around. Because I always go up to greet an older guy or something. Like it's like the other way around now. So people always respect me. They always treat me nice. I actually kind of like it. It's kind of like a
Like
mini
you get
king.
to skip the line sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome.
So what are the perks?
Well, a lot of people are very nice to you,
Okay.
and people always want to help. So that's honestly been the biggest thing. Like it's just everyone wants to help, and they're all nice to you.
And it kind of sad though
Yeah.
it took this to like kind of get to that point though.
yeah. Because I know before my accident, I was just some young, dark Arab Muslim guy. So like sometimes like people would look at me that way, but like after my accident, that all went away. Like race, religion, youth, whatever it is, it just all went away, and people just like kind of treat me nice. So it's it's cool, but yeah, like you said, it's kind of sad.
No, seriously, like I think that's kind of what our society is. The problem with our society is that we, it's like alhamdulillah, in this case, it's not too late, but we tend to show love or show that whatever when it's too late. Like they say, like open up a business, you'd get 3 or 4 people, but whenever you pass away, you have all these love letters and notes, and people saying that they love you and they miss you, your funeral. But it's like, why do we do that? Why don't we give the flowers or the respect to people while they're still here with us, and show that respect?
That was one thing I really took advantage of after my accident. Like, because when I had my accident, that moment I realized, like, life is never definitive. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So as I was in the hospital and as I got out of the hospital, I reconnected with a lot of old people, like old friends, and any old beefs I had, I squashed them.
Nice.
So, like, I called, like, old friends and reconnected with some of them, and I called, like, he's my friend now, but this guy that we used to argue a lot on Facebook, I said a lot of mean things to him. He said a lot of mean things, and I just completely squashed it, just like that kind of stuff. I just want to make sure I'm good with everyone, because you never know what can happen. Like, if you die, like, you go to the grave with all this negative connotation towards you. You just don't want that.
Oh, subhanallah.
Salah was mentioning that this was like almost a blessing in disguise, in a way.
Definitely.
And then he even pronounced encephalopathy for me. All right, encephalopathy. All right.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure encephalopathy. All right.
Yeah.
Was it not bad? You don't know. You're just looking at me. Any thoughts so far about what he's been saying?
I do want to add. Do you feel like it kind of saved your life in a way?
Not necessarily saved it, but
Made
it better,
yeah.
for sure. Because like I said, my life before, honestly, it was good. It just wasn't. It was just like, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't progressing. I was just kind of there, like kind of like I don't know what honestly what would happen, because my sister-in-law always asked me, like, what were you gonna do, because at some point you weren't gonna get your degree. She's like, what are you gonna? I'm like, honestly, I had no idea. I was kind of living in, like, in secrecy, just like no one knew until I had my accident that I was doing really bad in school.
Wow.
And a lot of
So
people
put you
probably
back on the straight,
yeah.
straight path.
Yeah.
Do you think it gave you more time to focus on your goals?
Definitely, because like I just restructured my mind and my whole life after that, because it gave me a chance just to really think about things.
Priorities.
Yeah,
priorities.
prioritize yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
So advice time.
Okay.
All right, believe it or not, we're almost reaching it up. It's almost been an hour, man. I don't know if time flies when we're just talking. What advice would you give someone who has a physical, mental, or emotional disability and having a hard time coping with it? So I guess what advice would you give somebody that's having a hard time coping with their disability?
The biggest thing for me is a few things. So take every day, day by day, like I said earlier, because if you think too far ahead, you're going to suck yourself out. You don't want to do that. And the other huge thing is surround yourself with good people. Like, try to do that before anything happens. Like, that's what, like I always say, always surround yourself with good people, because when things go down, you want them to be next to you and to help you out. Like, I have amazing friends that literally carry me to places. Like, they'll carry me upstairs into pools, just anywhere. And it's just great to have amazing people around you, because you can always have someone to talk to, take you out, go somewhere. Like, the first 2 years of my accident, I wasn't able to drive, so people had to take me everywhere. But alhamdulillah, I always treated people nice, and I had good people around me so when the time came, they had no problem doing all these things, like throwing my chair in the car, driving me here, driving me there, all kinds of stuff. So surround yourself with good people, and don't think too far ahead. Take everything. And honestly, faith, I mean, I know everyone watching this isn't religious or Muslim, but for me, Islam was a huge thing. It kept me, like, grounded and focused, and it just helped me overall.
Definitely. Yusuf, can we give the guest a round of applause for the amazing time? All right. By the way, that wasn't Yusuf. That was actually the crowd that we have here watching. All right. And they said they wanted to give him one more round of applause to the crowd. Thank you. Shout out to the crowd. I appreciate it. Before we give out final words, all right, any final comments and
I have a
stuff?
question.
You got a
It
question?
might be, I don't want to say this might be dumb, but
No,
I
it's
just
all
want to
good.
know.
She's a teacher. There's no such thing as dumb questions.
I know,
You
but
literally
it might be
just,
an
talked
ignorant.
about
Yeah,
how-
I know, but I just like,
I think I have one too. I'm not
Should I
gonna lie.
not? Okay,
All right. Give him a round of applause.
thank you,
All right.
Yusuf. Anyways, so for instance, you got paralyzed when you were what,
21.
21. Okay.
I'm 26 now.
Okay. So what if a child gets paralyzed, right? Do they still like grow?
Yeah, so they grow differently.
Okay.
So if you ever and the guy who's gonna come to Ali, he had someone on his podcast with spina bifida. So people who are paralyzed from a very young age or born with spina bifida, which means you're born paralyzed, they grow different. So their torso, sometimes their torso and arms will grow normally, but depending on how young it happens, it can grow out. So the legs won't grow that well. It'll be small, and you can see the proportions aren't normal. So they grow, but differently.
Okay.
Yeah, so like a lot of times they'll have really like the one thing that always grows no matter what is the arms. They always grow normally, but the torso a lot of times get compressed, and the legs don't grow that much.
Okay, and then my second question.
Yeah.
That you know, so like if you feel anything?
No, nothing.
Even if
So
you
from
have-
the chest down, all the way, I don't feel like I can hit this all day. Nothing.
Oh.
Like my body, like if I get injured or something, like my body will send signals because there's an interruption with my brain and the rest of my body. So there's this thing called autonomic reflexia. So if I have something very severe happen to me, my body will start giving me signals because it doesn't know what's going on. So it's sending weird signals. So like I'll start sweating, or I'll get a headache. Like for example, when I did my the first Detroit Free Press I did after my accident, like that video I sent you, I put hot water on the bottom of my feet, and it was too hot. I didn't realize till a few hours later, and I woke up from that just like my feet was like swollen. There was boils on it. And I didn't realize until like an hour later, like when I woke up from my nap, and I'm like, I feel so off. And I looked at my feet, and they were like about to blow because like, it was just swollen up with all this fluid. And then, yeah, so there's different ways that your body lets you know.
Oh, subhanallah. See,
Yeah.
I guess it's not. I mean,
No, it's not.
yeah.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
So are they like the medical community? Are they working on anything where it can maybe reverse it?
Yeah, so there's different things in the work. Like some people, there's stem cells that help a little bit, and then there's the big things I've seen recently. There's this thing called an epidural stimulator, and some people actually use it for like back pain or something like that. I've seen one of my friends on Facebook use it, but it's still in medical trials. But what it is, it's where your break is. It acts as an electronic bridge, and it's still in trials right now. So that's why for me personally, I don't want to do any of those things until I know if it's 100%.
So you would do something if there was.
If I knew it worked 100%, because my life honestly right now is amazing, and if I can do something, alhamdulillah, if I could do something to make it to get my function back, I'll only do it if I knew for sure it was gonna work. Because if I do something that could go wrong, I don't want to deal with those consequences.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
for sure.
100%.
but they're working on that stuff. There's different stuffs in the work. Yeah, they're working on like putting sensory glands in the spine to grow back the spinal cord. They're like I said, epidural stimulator. It's an electronic bridge. There's all kind. They're working on different things, but
Okay, I have one more question.
yeah.
Do you feel pain now in any?
Oh, I'm in pain every day on my back because like sitting in a chair, if after long periods like gives you pain, and then I just messed up my back so much. It's very like not symmetrical. Like some muscles are bigger here, some are there, so like it causes a lot of pain. So, but not like too much. Like it just depends on my day. So like but every day I do have a little bit of pain, but like it's normal to me now. So it's just I don't take any pain meds or anything, but yeah, I do have pain every day. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question too. Do you have to take?
Credigated questions, man.
And
So funny. No, for sure.
everything, and
No,
then now we're just-
I'm happy that
Yeah,
you
no,
guys
it's
are saying
good
this
because
because-
a lot of people, this is new for a lot of
Yeah.
people.
yeah.
for sure,
No.
for
So
sure.
do you have to take any specific medication, or is it just like?
Well, it's a lot of times people get hooked on drugs and stuff like that. But with me, I did what I could to like. So for the first month, I took pain meds, but I got off that pretty quick. And then like there's other meds you can take like for spasms. There's like baclofen. I don't take anything specific.
So
but
nothing on a daily basis where you need to take it.
no, I mean some people say you should, but like with spasms, but there's different ways to treat them. Everyone's different. Like my spasms aren't too bad, and there's different ways I can alleviate them. But no, I don't take anything specifically. But yeah, I weaned myself off of all the drugs. I wasn't on a lot when I first got out of the hospital, but yeah, I don't take anything.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you have a specific diet? Do you have to eat specific things?
Not necessarily, but there's certain things like that I can't eat too much. Like if I eat too much like red meat, like it'll just go through me. So I'll eat if I eat red meat, I'll only eat it that day, and I'll wait like a week or a few days later to eat it. But nothing specific. No, it's just some foods just hold me up more, and some just go right through me. But like if I eat too much red meat specifically, that will go through me. Yeah.
If we keep this up, they're gonna end up asking for your social security number and
No.
credit card number too, man.
I'm all good.
No, I'm joking. No, I love the questions. Seriously, in all
You don't
seriousness.
got any last minute questions?
First of all, Sal said close enough. He laughed at my pronunciation, and then said would love to meet you personally. By the way, he wanted to have a conversation with you. So if you're okay, I could connect you to
For sure.
as well. Putting on, or like somebody just helping you in general, like putting on clothes or getting from one place to another. Do you have somebody constantly helping you with that?
No,
stuff, or is that-
no. In the beginning, yeah, I had, of course, like my family and stuff. But like, for example, the first time I got dressed in the hospital, it took me an hour and a half. But over time, I got better at it, more independent, and now it takes me like 5 minutes. But like, alhamdulillah, now I'm completely independent. Like, if I wanted to, I could live on my own and get my own house. But the reason I don't have my own house is just because of the economy, that kind of stuff. Like, everything's super expensive. I do plan on moving out soon, but you gotta see how things play out. But like, I'm completely independent, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, man. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
I'm a Barak.
Yes. So listen, I hope you guys enjoy this. This was a lot to compact in one show. Inshallah, maybe we can get you back on for
Of
another
course.
one. We could dig deep into more specific
Definitely.
conversations, but we kind of wanted to lay the groundwork. Again, today we had Sallah Mohamed on the show today. Conversation about disabilities in our community. This is something that needs to be discussed. That should be discussed in our communities way more. I feel like I learned more today in this 1 hour than I knew probably my whole 30 years of living about people with disabilities. And this is just one. This is just one, person. So we could definitely have a few other people coming on and talk about different things. Again, if you want to follow us on social media, it's YouTube Oz Media 313, Apple and Spotify podcasts. You can listen to the show later on Oz Media. Instagram and Facebook, Motivate Me 313. Also TikTok is Oz Media. And we had a caller call in. Shout out to Sal. Future reference 313-306-1750. You can call in. Shout out to our sponsors, Balkan House, Bawa House, BC Adhesives, and Hanley International Academy. This is the time for a final word. Anything we may have missed, anything that you want to mention that you felt like that we didn't ask about. So this is your time.
Not really, but I wanted to say, like, if someone wanted to reach out to me, they can on Instagram or something. It's really easy. Sallah Mohamed, SALLAHMOHAMED. The reason I say that is because, not to get followers or anything, but a lot of times people want to ask like questions and they don't get a chance. So I find that Instagram helps out a lot to help people. Because I've helped a lot of people through Instagram and stuff like that. So if anyone wants to reach out, I'm very open to everything. So just reach out to me and I'll answer whatever.
Yeah, some people still might not want to have that conversation maybe face to face. So that social media is the best way of doing it.
More comfortable for them.
More comfortable for them. But there you go. Like, and no shame in that, man. People, get you those followers up, man. Sallah Mohamed, that's SALLAHMOHAMED, correct?
Yep.
At Sallah
I
Mohamed.
want to say something here.
Go ahead.
No,
that was it.
But I don't know.
What you got? You got something else you want to add?
I just want to say something and then you like.
I'm sorry.
Maybe I did, but I don't know.
Okay, my bad. I messed you
Happens
up.
to me all the time. Like if I don't
Yeah.
get to say it right away, like I'll
Yeah.
forget.
Me too. It happens to me too.
I'm
I'm
like-
sorry. I apologize.
No, you're
if it
good,
was
you're
something
good.
else. Sada, I be at any final comments, words?
Thank you for sharing
Oh,
your
no
story.
big deal. Thank you. Thanks for
I
having
love
me.
all the guests that we have in here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Like I said before, it just makes you feel like everyone's taking their life for granted, and it's nice. It's very interesting to see how like your life got structured.
Yeah.
And we need to do that, but even before anything.
Everything
Yeah.
happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, follow to our pages. You want to support. That's the best way of supporting us. Also, feel free to message us if there's guests out there that you think would be a great idea. Like this, subhanAllah, how this worked out. Reached out to him, I think on Friday, and he made it happen on Tuesday. So this was great. This is the kind of conversations we want to have. And, again, we can dig deep in them. We got to have it first. Then we can go deeper into the conversations. Feel free to message us. Tune in next week, Tuesday. We'll have Sister Devine in the building. We'll be talking. I don't know what the topic is going to be just yet, but looking forward to that.
And if you guys have a story that you want to share, or someone that should be on our show, also reach out, because we're always open to meeting new people and having them on the show.
All 5 of our guests for this month of November, if you guys think we're joking, all 5 of them are from someone who referred someone. So, you know, it wasn't us reaching out to people. It was someone telling us that we should reach out to these people. So people messaging us saying like, hey, this person would be a great person or this person would be a great person.
We
So,
love that.
you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, so please, we listen to y'all. We plan on having shows, inshallah, like every week, you know, that's the goal. So, you know, hearing topics or hearing people's stories, you know, I always say the person is the topic for the day. So thank you,
Thanks for
Salah.
having me.
I appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoy